McGraw-Hill SimNet featuring Microsoft Office 365. This video covers, in practice, Access Chapter 3, Independent Project 3-5. Chapter 3 is all about queries. Queries are one of the most essential and useful database tools. You can think of a query as a question that you ask the database to get specific information back, kind of like a focused search. When you create queries in Microsoft Access, you're essentially building instructions for the database to filter out and return exactly what you need without sifting through all the data manually. Queries are incredibly powerful and practical in everyday life. For instance, when you withdraw cash from an ATM, a query finds your balance, deducts the amount, and updates your account instantly. Similarly, at a grocery store checkout, a query retrieves prices and calculates your total based upon your scanned items. In both cases, queries work behind the scenes to ensure fast, accurate, and useful results. By the end of this lesson, you'll have created your own queries in Access, giving you a first-hand look at how these tools can enable you to interact meaningfully with large sets of data. These skills are foundational not only for databases, but for understanding how information systems power many of our daily interactions with technology. Now, before you begin, you'll need to download your file from SimNet. I've already done that, and I've opened it in Access. So let me go ahead and show you what I can see here. When you download a file from the internet for Microsoft Access on Windows 11 or later, you're probably going to get a security warning like the one that you see on my screen here. Windows will automatically block the file as a security measure, and this is because Windows considers the file downloaded from the internet to be a potential security risk, because files like Access and other databases can contain code or macros. So if you've already opened the file like I've done here, what you need to do is go ahead and close Access and then find the file on your hard drive. So it may be in your downloads folder or something like that. With the file closed and Access closed, go ahead and follow these instructions here. Right-click on the file and choose from the pop-up menu, Properties. In the Properties pop-up dialog, look at the bottom of the General tab for a check mark that says Unblock. You'll notice that it says this file came from another computer and might be blocked to help protect this computer. Go ahead and check off this box here that says Unblock and then click OK. Doesn't really seem to make a difference, but now when you open the file up, which I'll do right now, it's going to open it up in Access. And we're at the point where we can enable content and work with the file. So go ahead and do that, enable content, and get ready to complete this project. Keep in mind that when you're downloading files from the internet, if you know the source of the file like we do in this case, you can trust the file, but remember to be cautious when unblocking files from unknown sources. Okay. Now that we have the file open, go ahead and check it out. Enable content if you need to. This is going to complete the first few steps of our instruction, so I'll go ahead and check off steps 1, 2, and 3. And before we go into step 4, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the database with you here. For this project, we're going to pretend to work for the New York Department of Motor Vehicles. We're going to create 4 queries to extract data from a fictitious set of data about speeding tickets or traffic tickets. Let's take a look at the database to see what we're working with. There are 2 tables here. We can see them in our Objects panel. One is called Drivers, the other is called Tickets. I'm going to go ahead and double-click on Tickets and open that in Datasheet View. And what we can see here by looking at this is that there's a total of 41 records in this table. You can pause the video if you want to take a look at the data on the screen. Once you've done that, go and click on the View button here. It's on the Home tab on the left, and we're going to take a look at this here in what's called Design View. Okay, so what do we have? We've got something called ticket number. Notice that there is a key next to it right there. That tells us that that is the key field for this table, and it must be a unique ticket number. That's what it says here. These are mostly short text fields except for a date and time field and a currency. But we've got a driver's license number. That's the driver's license number of the person who received the ticket. Notice that it says here that it must match a license number in the driver's table. That notation in the description tells us that it's intended to link these two tables together. This would be a foreign key, which we can follow into the driver's table to get more information about the driver that received a ticket. We also have information about the ticket itself, the ticket date, the city where the infraction occurred, the primary factor, for example, speeding, the officer's badge number, and finally, the fine, which is the amount charged for the violation. Okay, so that's what we've got here. I'm going to go ahead and use this X to close this table. Don't need to see it anymore, and I'll open up the driver's table by double-clicking on that. And we can see here that it's got the type of data that we would expect to see in a table called drivers. For example, a license number is here, and that would, I presume, be our primary key. We've also got a birth date, last name, first name, address, etc. Now, notice here that on the left side of each one of these rows, there's a little plus sign, and if I click on that, it will open up for this particular record. So for example here, Ricardo Juarez, I'll click on his plus sign, and I can see that he's received 3 different tickets. This is called a subtable, and it is created because these two tables are linked together. There is a relationship established between the tickets and the drivers, linking the ticket to the driver who received the ticket. Let's close this table and any other tables that you've got open. If you've got the first table open, close it, close both of them. Don't save any changes. Let's do one more thing here. Let's go to the Database Tools tab and click on the Relationships button. That's going to give me a view of the relationship between these two tables here. It shows that we can take a look at ticket. There's a key next to ticket number. That's the unique field. The ticket ID number. But for driver's license number, there's a line that flows over to this table here to this license number. And we can get more information about each driver who received a ticket by following their driver's license number into the driver's table. This thing here is called an entity relationship diagram. And what that is it's a kind of a map that shows how the data is related in Access or any database. Access is a relational database. When you hear the term relational with regard to databases, think about tables joined by relationships. That's what it's all about. And so by having tables that represent people, places, and things, the relationships represent how they're related in real life. We kind of create a model of the real world inside of our database. So in our database, tickets are issued to drivers. This line here that says 1 to infinity tells me that this is a one-to-many relationship, meaning that each driver can get multiple tickets or none, but each ticket must belong to one and only one driver. Okay, so that's an overview of the database. I think it's kind of helpful to understand the structure that we're working with here. Let's be sure to close this and not save any changes. We shouldn't change anything here. But we want to have a clean and empty workspace as we go back to our instructions and pick up on instruction number 4. So let me go ahead and click on the instructions. And here what it says is that we want to create a new summary in Design View, a new summary query in Design View. The query counts the number of tickets issued by city and violation. So it says we're going to make 4 queries total. The first query provides summary data on the number of tickets by city and violation. That's what we're working on right here. So in Access, what I want you to do is go to the Create tab. And in the Queries area of the Create tab, you've got 2 options here. Let's look at Query Design. Click on that button. And this is the workspace that you get. I'm going to pull this up a little bit just for your visibility. And in this case, we want to add one or more tables to our workspace here. Now, you might, in a real database, you might have 30 tables. You might have 40 tables or 50. So you don't want to just dump everything into your workspace. You're going to pick and choose what you want to see to keep it organized. What do we want? We want to add the tickets table into the query design window. Okay, let's go ahead and double click on tickets, or you can pick it up, click, pull, drag, and drop, but I'll double click it. That puts the table here. I always like to pull down the wireframe and stretch it upwards and downwards and sideways so I can see everything easily. I don't like to have any scroll bars. Increase the size of the table to display all the fields. I just did that. Add the following fields to the query: city, primary factor, and ticket number. Okay, so let's do it in this order: city, primary factor, and what I'm doing here is I'm double clicking with the very point of the mouse on the thing I want to add, and ticket number. What if I make a mistake? What if I double click DL number? Don't do that. Double click on ticket number, please. But if I were to add the wrong thing here, I can fix it by using this pull down menu and choosing the correct thing. So what I should have here are city, primary factor, and ticket number. City, primary factor, ticket number. Double check your work. And then we're going to go up here and we're going to click on this button here that's labeled totals. Okay, let's do that. And what that does is it adds the total row to the query. So if you look down here, once I click that totals button, it's going to add a new row here that says total, group by, group by, group by. Now, group by is the default. So if you have the total row showing, group by basically just kind of is going to list everything out there. But you can also use this total row to do some functions, kind of like in Excel, things like sum and count to see how many of something there are, or what the total value is, things like that. So we're going to actually, under the ticket number field, we're going to change group by to count. And so that is going to count how many times we have a ticket number that is issued in a city for a particular thing. So for example, let's just take a look at the tickets. We've got the city of Buffalo and we've got unsafe speed. So this will count how many times we had tickets in the city of Buffalo issued for unsafe speeds, and every other possible combination that exists of a city and a type of a violation, a primary factor. So how do we pull the data out of the database? Well, we're going to do that by going back to the Query Design tab here and clicking on the Run button. Now, just so you know, the Run button and the View button kind of do the same thing here. I'm going to use the Run button, and that's going to show me a data sheet that has just the things I have asked for here: the city and the primary factor. I can stretch this out so I can read everything better if I want to. So in the city of Albany, there was only one alcohol related ticket issued. We can see that in Albany, though, there was 3 unsafe speed tickets issued. So that's what this is doing. It's just counting how many times the combination of, in this case, Albany and unsafe speed occurs in the database. So we had about 41 different tickets, I think, and we have about 22 different combinations here because some of them occurred multiple times. Okay, so let me go ahead and go back to the instructions. It's going to have us save this. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this carefully, just getting all the red characters here. I don't want to get that punctuation, but it's going to be called, with no spaces, ticket count by city and factor. I'll go ahead and hit the save button here. I don't see a button, so I'll do File, Save, and because this is a query, it's not saving a new file, it's just saving a new object in our Objects panel. So since I'm saving a query, I just need to give it a name. I will paste here the text that I copied, ticket count by city and factor. If you're going to type it, you can certainly do that, but just type it exactly like they give it to you here with capital letters and all. Let me click OK, And now you'll see that we have a new category here of objects, queries, and we've made one query, and this is it. And the name of that query appears in the tab at the top of the the workspace here. Okay. Let's see. Run the query. It should have 22 records. Let me go ahead and run it. I'll go to go back to my design view by clicking on the view button, and I can run it. And so there we have 22. They want us to go ahead and make these wide enough to show everything